listeners, Harika here, and I'm super excited to welcome you to UppTalk. If you're ready to learn and get your hands work wonders in the world of information technology, then you're in the right place. When I say UppTalk, we are not just another edtech company. Consider we are your learning partner committed to unlocking your full potential. Whether you're stepping into the world of technology for the first time or looking to advance your career, we provide top-tier, hands-on courses to build up your career. Let's take our first step towards learning here and explore it.
What we are talking about element is the component of the pay or compensation given to an employee. The employee can be anything. It can be a basic salary, housing allowance, transport allowance, medical premium bonus, vacation leave, pay time off, car, house alimony, child support taxes. All these things are the same. All these things are elements. Element is the component of the salary paid to an employee. Elements can be recurring, non-recurring elements it can be a recurring element that comes in every pay period, and non-recurring, which cannot be come in every pay period. Salary is a recurring element paid to an employee, and bonus is a non-recurring element. That is, cannot be paid in every pay period doesn't come. Priority of an element controls the order in which elements are processed. Priorities come like whatever the priorities is that like 1, 100, 2000, whatever is the priority of element. That means if I want to process that element in my first payroll, then it will be 1. And it is the priority on the priority basis between 1 to 1000. What would be the range? The controls with which elements are supposed to be ordered. Every element has one or more input value. Every element has one or more input value. Input value is anything that is required to process the element. If basic salary is 10,000 and housing or the 50,000 of the basics, percentage of H, R is the input value. Pay value is used by parallel engine to put the final amount tabled to employees against that element. Input values can be type, number, character, date and days. We can also define rules for each input value. For example, maximum, minimum, and default. It can be anything. Input value can be maximum, minimum, or default. What is the basic salary is 10,000 and housing and 50% of the basic. Percentage of JR is input value. Input value is bought as the input value is the pay value. That means the final amount table to employees against that element. Input values can be type, number, character, date, or days. Everything, anything can be done. That is the thing. Now coming to eligibility profiles. What is the eligibility rule for an element? Defines which employee is eligible for which element. It is linked to work structures, department, job location, grade, position, or payroll. To allow all employees to get an element, you can define a blank eligibility profile which ensures that every employee is eligible for that element. Suppose I create an eligibility profile. Eligibility profile is what? Meaning of that. Eligible means like which employee is eligible for which element. Linked to work structures, department, job location, grade, position, or payroll. That is, if it is linked to department, job location, grade, position, or payroll. It is that linking to that. To allow all employees to get an element, we can define a blank LGBT profile. Blank LGBT profile means if you get a blank which every employee which ensures eligible for the element. If the eligibility profile is not assigned, one can assign element to the employee. If that to show that element to show all the employees we get in the employee, we can define a blank LGBT profile. That means if you are eligible, if you are eligible for that employee, we can define a blank LGBT profile. Blank LGBT profile means everybody is eligible for that element and everybody is not eligible for that element. There is a blank LGBT profile. That means everybody is eligible for that element. And if you are assigning a non cannot, like you are restricting the data. That means you cannot. You can have to assign the element. You cannot assign the element to the employee. Element entry is the actual element information that are associated with the person. Element needs to be qualified as a person that can be associated with that person. This is done to element eligibility. Depending upon the specific requirements the LGBT will create for the person, payroll, statutory unit, legal, and department. Element entries are for what? There are actual element information that are associated with any person. An element needs to be qualified as a person that it can be associated with that person. This is done to element eligibility. Element eligibility is what? You are. Elementary will be created for the person, payroll, statutory unit, legal employer, and department. Entry values correspond to the element input values. Element can be the recurring or non-recurring. Earnings is a recurring element, while bonus is a non-recurring element. Earnings is a come as a recurring element, while bonus is a non-recurring element. And deductions are certainly more for the salary. Reductions can be voluntary or involuntary. Voluntary means you are voluntarily deducting someone from your salary. That is called taxes. But if you are not deducting something from your salary, that is donations. Donations means donations involuntary reduction. That means that is a donation that donation is coming from you the same. Involuntary reductions. That means that you are not willing to deduct that amount from your salary, but still it is deducted. That is called involuntary reductions. That, like some companies go for donations. You have to do donations actually in your company. How will you do the donation? In this case, you do donations like this. Balances. Balances means element input values, BT, profiles, and formula. Balances means what? Bad balances means element input values, L, B, T, rules, and formula. Balances means what is the balances that you have. Element means what is the element that is assigned to it. Input values is what is the input values, which is pay value, which is going to be assigned to that thing. LBT rules are what? LBT roles is like what is the LBT profile. LBT profile attached to that role. What is the LBT rule? What is the LBT rule attached to that profile? Formula means what formula is attached to that absences. Balances means like what accrued balance you have. Salary business describes the duration of the salary entered for an employee. A salary basis describes the duration of the salary. What do you understand by salary basis? Salary basis. I have no much idea about it. But it should be. For example, I only know that for assigning in what was a basic salary basis should be there. That is the only thing I understood. Salary basis is the salary. That means it's a salary only. It can be monthly, weekly, annually, anything. It's the duration of the salary and salary basis compensation. It is a compensation that is the salary that you get. Change salary means like if you go for analyzation factor means like on an annual basis converts the entire amount of the annual figure. That means suppose you're getting 6 lakhs of income. It converts the entered amount into annual figure. It converts 6 lakhs amount into annual figure. That means it converts that. Suppose you're giving 50,000, it will convert into annual figure. It links the grades to grade rate. And it also links the element and its input value into which the salary is entered in the element entry screen. That is the thing. Salary basis is linked to the employer in the change salary screen. In the change salary screen, when you go for change salary means like you have to change. If you are going through the change salary, it's a word called the word compensation. If I don't have the instance right now. I'm going to show it to you. A change salary means like if you want to change the salary of the employee, then you can go through that option. The salary basis is there. You can put in the salary amount. Assignment means create an element called basic salary. The access is the name prefix. Input value can be flat amount. Create an eligibility rule for the elements. Create a salary basis for monthly salary. Link to the annual grade rates. Define and assign the monthly charge to employees through payroll relationship. Assign the salary to the employee. To change the salary screen, view the salary to element entries. Run the quick pay for the employee. Create an element for access basic salary. We access the name. Create a basic salary. Input values can be flat. This is an assignment. You have to do that assignment. I cannot show it because today we will not do the practicals. I can show you the theory because they have not given the instance. I cannot show you the value of today. Input values can be anything. It can be pay value. It can be salary monthly basis linked to the annual grade rates. Define and assign the monthly salary to the employees through payroll relationship. Assign the salary to the employee to change salary screen. You decide to element entries. Run the quick pay for the employee. How will you do it? First, I will try for my system. I will create one element. I will assign one basic salary to one employee and run a quick pay. I will assign one basic salary to one employee and try to run a quick pay for that. You will create an element called basic salary. Put some input value flat amount to that. Create an eligibility rule. Then create a salary basis for monthly salary. Link that to the annual grade rates and define as a monthly salary to employees through payroll relationship. Assign the salary to the employees through change salary. In the change salary, you can assign the salary and view the salary through element entries. Run the quick pay for the employee. That day I showed it to you how the quick pay works. Today I will show it to you. But I don't have the instance. How will I show? I can show I will do the theory today. Then next day we will do the practicals. Tomorrow we will do the practicals. I am not about the instance. Now, what are the balance? Balances are what? It's a value that is accumulated over a period of time. That the result would be valid between money hours or anything numerical value. There are two main aspects of the balance. The period of time over which it is accumulated or calculated for the balance dimension. and input through the calculation of balance for balance fees. The task that's the managed balance definition. Balance can be predefined, created by element templates, or can be user created. There are two components for balance: balance dimensions and defined balances. What is balances? The following as a defined proprietary classified earnings reductions, last pay and net pay. Balances are what? Balances are accumulated over a period of time. The end result of balance would be any value: weight, money, hours, numerical value. There are two main aspects of the balance: the period of time over which it is calculated or recommended for balance dimension, and input for the calculation of balance for balance fees. Balance fees like input feed for the calculation of balance. That means balance fees means what are the inputs that you are giving to that balance. It's called balance fees. What are balances? That is, what are the that is accumulated over a period of time. It can be money, it can be hours, it can be numerical value, and balance can be element entries. There are two components of balance dimensions and defined balances. The following are the three different balances. We have earnings classified based on the criteria. We have earnings reductions, gross and net pay. The following are the definition of what data values can be used for the accumulation of the balance. Feeds can be defined by the input different values and the result run. Result values during the payroll run. The unit of measure for the input value and the balance should be the same. The two types of balance fees by element and balance fees by classification. Balance fees by element means indicates one or more element values to add subtract to the balance. That means one or more input value, but you are adding to that, subtracting from the balance. But you have to attach it to an element. Then only you can feed that value. Feeds means you're putting that in some input values. Balance fees by classification means it attaches a primary or secondary unit event classification on the balance. It attaches a secondary element classification and uses the input value that has specific purpose for primary output value. It attaches a secondary element classification and uses the input value that has specific purpose of a primary output. That means specific. Well, with classification means it has specific purpose, of which I will show you to the application when we work well with the system. Now calculation cards. This is a very important calculation cards award. We can create a marriage calculation cards at several different levels, from individual person to pair of starter units. Use the cards to capture information specific to person or organization, such as employee tax filing status. We reported based highest levels at highest and lowest levels. Personal calculation cards, tax reporting unit calculation cards, and payroll stuttering calculation cards. What are calculation cards? We can create and manage calculation cards at several different levels, from individual person to payroll stuttering units. Use the cards to capture information specific to the person or organization, such as employee tax filing status. Without calculation cards, payroll will not run. You need a calculation card at various levels, from individual person to payroll stuttering unit. Use the cards to capture information specific to personal organizations, such as employee tax filing status. We reported various levels. Highest to lowest be personal calculated card, tax reporting unit, payroll stuttering unit. Calculation cards I will tell you about on the application. Calculation is what? Do you understand what is calculation and retropay? Prolation. We can say that if I have a medical leave, the salary will be paid after directing the medical leave. Some calculation might be there depending, that is how company to any changes in the application, which are salary changes, promotion, appraisal leave, that is called prolation. Retropay is what? When payment for some backdated amount is going to the current pay period, it's called retropay. When payment for some backdated amount means, like, suppose you have 2000 and that balances amount is left. How to update that balance? You will get a retropay amount. That is called retropay, backdated amount. That is going to be in the current pay period. That is called getting your backdated amount in the current pay period, called retropay. What was object groups? Object groups. We have three groups: work relationship group, payroll relationship group, element group, reduction card group. Object groups are user-defined set of elements or people that restrict the items that are included in various process and reports. It is a mechanism by which you can set up the definition to retrieve an appropriate set of element entry which would be useful for payroll calculation. There are four types of object groups. Element group. It limits the implement process for payroll cost distribution sector. Pay period relationship group. It limits the person's process for data entry and reporting. Work relationship. It limits the person's process for human resources and reporting. Reduction card. It is a grouping of calculation cards for ELN processing based on legislation. I will actually do the practicals for calculation cards production when I will get the instance details. Because I thought this one practical payroll will be difficult. Some theory only I will not run. Payroll process sequence. The following flows can be done at any time to complete the full payroll cycle. Active payroll prepayment, make EFT payment, generate patients, costing of payment and transfer to the subledger. All these things we are going to think of. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel. For more information, contact us sales@uptalk.com.